We have breaking news this morning. A healthcare worker at a Texas hospital has tested positive for the Ebola virus. This according to a preliminary test from Texas Health Presbyterian Hospital in Dallas. A statement released this morning says the worker cared for Thomas Eric Duncan, who died from the virus on Wednesday. Further testing will be conducted by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in Atlanta. We'll have an update on the process of creating a vaccine to cure Ebola a little bit later on. Haley, police tell me a man was shot here at the Capitol Commons apartment complex early this morning. They were able to locate the victim shortly after they arrived on scene around 4:15 a.m. and they transported him to the hospital where he's currently in critical condition. In the band, the traditions range from how they get to the stadium, the series, to how they get on the field, the kick step. Hit it, guys. Hey Kirk, this is the room where the Clinton County Road Commission stores its salt, and as you can see right now, it's pretty empty. But come this October, when it's time to fill it up, it's going to cost a lot more, about $100,000 more to be exact, and that's because the price of salt has skyrocketed. Before his senior season, Michael decided to drop football, and along with that, his childhood dream of playing Division I football in college. Instead, the 18-year-old devoted that extra time to helping out his community, and he hasn't looked back since. What you see on your screen right now is a shot of the eastbound side of the highway that's been shut down for about an hour now as emergency crews take care of the scene. There is one lane open on the westbound side, but this really is a big mess for morning commuters. For example, if you're at an intersection and you can't turn your head both ways, or if you can't see the car in your rear view mirror, those are good indicators it may be time to hang up the keys. I'm here at Northwest High School. They call themselves Mountie Nation, and you can see why. They brought not just their high school out here, but the entire district. Copper told me earlier today that if all had gone according to plan, they'd be moving into the new station sometime in August of this year. Now he estimates that move-in time for May or June of next year, so you can see the delay right there.
And before we proceed with our celebration, let's remember her.
A moment of silence at Monday morning's convocation for 19-year-old Giayi Dai. Dai, who would have been a freshman, was found dead in an apartment Saturday. Initial investigations leading police to believe excessive drinking was the cause. MSU's international community left stunned.
I feel really sad.
I'm very shocked.
Freshman Ingrid Peng came to the U.S. from China 8 years ago and knows how difficult adjusting to a new culture can be, especially for those like Dai who weren't here as long.
I think there's definitely pressure that you have to drink, so maybe that's why she just went overboard.
Peter Briggs, who directs the Office for International Students and Studies, says alcohol is addressed in the orientation program, but nothing about what to do if you need help.
It's mentioned within the context of the legal issues. So you can't drink before you're 21. What are the consequences?
Briggs says one problem is that an international student might be too afraid to call for help, thinking they might get in trouble or they could be worried about even getting sent home. But East Lansing police say that shouldn't be a concern.
Your life is more important, or your friend's life is more important. There's laws that protect you. Our officers aren't going to do anything criminally if you're calling for help because of a medical emergency.
Briggs says that's the message that needs to get out.
We have not given that much place in the new student orientation, but I think we certainly will in the future based on this situation.
A situation they hope to never see again. In East Lansing, Anthony Sabella, News 10. The 15 bikes stolen from a garage on South Jackson Street are worth thousands of dollars, but to these athletes, they mean so much more, and they want them back. It was supposed to be the first day of practice for the Special Olympics Area 19 cyclists, but when Coach Mary Turk opened up the garage where the bikes were kept,
I seen one three-wheel bike still left in here and only one row of bikes.
7 two-wheelers and 8 three-wheelers were missing. Turk canceled practice and locked up the remaining bikes in the gym. But with 32 athletes, it's not nearly enough, especially with just one three-wheeled bike left on the property.
A lot of our athletes that have stability issues, we put them on a three-wheel bike.
Now the search is on for the missing bikes.
This desk used to be over in this area.
Area 19 leaders believe the thieves got onto the property by hopping over a fence behind the garage, standing on this desk to get the bikes back over.
We looked and saw the grass behind the fence was matted down, and we just kind of followed that, went out into the road and seen where they brought the bikes out.
Police say it's unlikely they'll be able to solve this case without community help.
Our best hope is from the
from the public to get a tip, or somebody will come forth with some information. Our officers did process the scene for fingerprints and that.
But those results could take months, time the team doesn't have.
Competition is end of September, and we have to have our timings and things in prior to that.
And until the bikes are replaced or returned, athletes like Neil Chamberlain can't do what they love.
I want them no isn't against the law. I want them to go to jail.
Just give them back. You're disappointing our athletes not being able to ride.
Now, the theft could have happened any time since Father's Day. Area 19 leaders found the garage open again this morning, so they believe another attempt to steal the remaining bikes was made last night. Donations from the Jackson Fitness Council and others this week should replenish most of the supply, but Area 19 is still looking for more help. Jason. There's never a dull moment in the Hackett household.
What's she gonna do with all these toys?
And parents Fred and Sarah wouldn't have it any other way.
We feel so blessed and so fortunate.
From the photos on the wall to the excitement over a new baby sister, the Hacketts are your typical young family. They just came together a little differently.
It kind of was a long process. We battled some infertility initially, and then we looked into adoption.
The result was the adoption of Eliana, now 7. 5 years later, they adopted Gabriella, who's 2, and in July, the Hacketts adopted for a 3rd time, 5-month-old Isabella. Tuesday morning, they all left their Meridian Township home to make the last adoption final as part of Judge George Economy's Christmas adoption tradition.
Her name henceforth is Isabella Grace Hackett. You're whack.
When you think about the holidays, you sit there and think about family, and what exemplifies it better than to unite a family together and say, this is a family unit now.
For the last 27 years, the judge has set aside the day before holiday break just for finalizing adoptions, and the demand continues to grow. In total, 18 kids will be getting forever families behind these doors, enough for Judge Economy to add a 2nd day of adoptions for the first time.
It's become a standard, and it will be for as long as I'm a judge.
A standard that's given the Hacketts and so many other families the best Christmas present possible. In Ingham County, Anthony Sabella, News 10.